Hi, it's Bob from HeCooksForMe.com. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make some basil pesto. This is fresh basil. We normally like to grow our own because it does get expensive as we're making pestos. With our new house we weren't able to this year, but my mother-in-law grew basil for us. So we just went and picked today. To do the basil, we like to just take off the leaves so that there's no stem left on them and you just have the full leaf. And then we'll put this into a cup and you pack them in and you'll use 2 cups of basil leaves for each pesto that we make. We're also going to use, these are pine nuts, and you use 2 tablespoons of pine nuts. You can also use cashews. Pine nuts are really expensive and sometimes hard to find, so you can also use cashews if you prefer. 2 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of the basil leaves, and then we have a half a cup of olive oil, a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of grated Romano cheese, and 4 tablespoons of softened butter. We're also going to make pasta because as you make this you need to thin it out in the food processor to keep it chopping, and you want to use pasta water to do that. So it's water that'll have the starch from making pasta in it. This is our cup of basil leaves. You can see when you push it down it's pretty tight onto the top of the cup. And so that's 1 cup and each batch takes 2. So then we throw it into a colander and we're going to wash this really good. We picked another one here. So 2 cups of basil leaves, looks about like that in a big colander. It's quite a bit. We're going to wash these off and then we'll lay them out on a paper towel to dry. You don't want a whole lot of this water. We also have our pasta water going right now so that we can start cooking that pasta and be ready to put these together. We're going to keep pulling basil leaves. We need to actually smash the nuts before they go in. These are the pine nuts. So I just use a meat tenderizer hammer. You use the flat side and put them into a bag and seal it and then just start hammering away. You can see how it's smashed down into completely smashed, but that way the outside of the nut is broken up and they'll mix in with everything else as we put them in the food processor. We have enough basil today after we pulled it that we have 6.5 batches. So all of these are 2 cups of basil, except this last one's only 1, so that's our half. And we're drying them right now on the paper towels. Now we'll set up an assembly line. Renee runs the food processor and I just keep refilling everything as she uses them up so that we can get through this process. For our assembly line I have everything set up and my job is as soon as Renee uses one of these I refill it. And she's just going to run the food processor and keep everything going. So what I have going here, I have 2 tablespoons of pasta water, 4 tablespoons of softened butter, half a cup of olive oil, 2 cloves of minced garlic, a teaspoon of salt, half a cup of grated Parmesan, 2 tablespoons of a grated Romano, and these are 2 tablespoons of pine nuts. So as she uses these up, I just refill them and she's just going to mix everything together. So we've loaded the food processor with the basil. We're going to start mixing it with the olive oil, the garlic, pine nuts, and salt. And we'll just run this until this all gets mixed in together. And then we'll add the cheeses and the butter, do that just for a little bit, and then we start adding the pasta water so it gets to be the right consistency. I use the food processor to blend all that basil in with the first process. You can see it's really a sauce more than it is now individual chunks. And now we'll put in the cheeses and the butter. You don't want to blend these in very much. You just want to incorporate them. You don't want to really cut it all up. And then you want your pasta water to be at a boiling point. So we're going to pull brand new pasta water out. You're going to put 2 tablespoons in, mix it in, and then see kind of the consistency. And as long as it's saucy, you're good. If it's still pretty thick, you're going to add maybe another half a tablespoon. So this will show you the consistency when we're done. We've added that 2 tablespoons of the boiling pasta water. We didn't need anything extra in this. You want it to kind of drip off like that. You don't want it to be solid, but you also don't want it to just be runny. So this is just about perfect. We'll consider this one done. We're going to put it into a Rubbermaid container and freeze this. Our finished pesto goes really good in about a 2.5 cup Rubbermaid container. We freeze these until we're ready to use them. This goes really good with about 3/4 to a pound pound of pasta, and a pound and a half of chicken. If you're going to do a chicken pesto, you can do shrimp with this, lots of different ideas, and we'll get into that as we go. But this is our finished pesto. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and consider hitting that red subscribe button. It really helps if you can share my videos with friends and family that might be interested, or watch some of the other videos on my channel. I hope this dish, or one of my other featured dishes, finds its way into your kitchen soon.